All right, everybody. We are back at Bloodbath Tactics.
Let's go.
Let's go. We took what we do usually a week off, and we do about 3 a month.
Yeah.
It's good to be back, though. We are missing Fraser today.
No Fraser today. I'm back in the big boy seat.
Oh, yeah, he was in there last time.
This is where big boys,
Yeah,
this is where
that's right.
big boys sit. Stinky seat.
You're warming it up now.
I'm warming it up for him.
Yeah.
It's still warm, strangely enough. But no Fraser right now.
Checks out.
He's just farting in it.
He's just farting away.
Creatine farts.
Can we say fart in the first 10 minutes of YouTube, or is that a curse? Or I think we're good.
I think we're good.
I'm getting from production. We're good. Production says we're good.
Good. All right, good. Well, awesome. And what we were talking about, we had a big RTT here in Calgary last weekend. I have a big tournament going up in Kelowna too this coming up weekend. Mm-hmm. We also saw the first weekend. It was 2 super majors last weekend.
Yeah, 200 people plus.
Was there 2, hey?
But there's 2 super majors, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously with the new Dataslate rules and the new detachments from the Dataslate, the boogeyman is, the ORKS. We'll get into that, I think, a little bit, and how they are good, David.
I've never been so wrong. I've been saying it's pretty mid for the past 2 weeks.
Did you say it on podcast so that was mid?
No, I was saying it in group chats.
Yeah. You kept it into you kept it under the radar on podcast. You didn't want to be on record officially.
Well, we haven't had a pod since that detachment.
I guess that's
released.
true. The one that you guys did was just before. So this is the first one post Dataslate. We want to get into the changes, what's hot, what's not, who got whacked, and why orcs are going to be dominating until something happens.
and there might be something that happens. They have done emergency Dataslate changes before. With Star Shatter was the most recent one. So I think that
there's a precedent. Yeah,
It might be warranted when you're fucking first, second, third place in one super major. Yeah,
two super majors.
Two super majors.
You win 2 super majors.
Okay, so let's get it out real quick in case people are not familiar what happened with the Dataslate. We had a Dataslate a week and a half ago now, something like that. Not quite full 2 weeks. Lots of rules changes. Not a lot of points changes, but some. And the other big thing that happened was they released, technically, I guess, 4 new detachments. And they did say specifically that this is going to be a quarterly thing. So maybe not coinciding exactly with every Dataslate. Maybe it does. That might just be the easiest way to do it, because Dataslate changes are pretty much quarterly at this point.
Yeah.
More or less.
I think the next one's in June, but it'll probably be after or coinciding with the Thousand Suns Codex, I think.
Oh,
it's
sure.
probably going to all go there.
Things are going to get bumped around, shifted around by codexes and Dataslates, but they've committed to new detachments, which is kind of exciting. I think that's really cool.
Keeps the game fresh.
It does.
Or messes
destroys
it,
it.
Completes it.
By fresh, you mean explodes it. And
exactly.
Well, I think I was reading an article where at GW there's the design team and then there's the balance team. But the balance team has no say in what happens prior to them releasing the product. Because then the product comes out and then they say, well, that's way over. Oh,
so balance doesn't get a pass.
No,
until
they look at it later.
That seems wild. That seems like a terrible
right?
idea.
But the testing goes okay, yeah, this is sweet, and then they don't actually talk about balance in the game, and then they just release the product.
It's like Tesla doing their quality control after the Cybertruck
starts. That seems like a terrible idea.
Goes on to market stuff.
Very topical
so they're all
reference too.
They're copying Tesla's business model is what they're doing.
So, like I said, I'm excited that we're doing new detachments. Obviously, this one had some problems, but previous to this, we only saw Drukari get a detachment outside of codexes, right? We got Sky Splinter.
Yeah.
So that was their hot fix, which did bring them up in power level. It didn't break them by any means, made them competitive and good, and gave them a good toolbox to use. But a whole bunch of new detachments. We've got Orcs. We'll definitely get into the most because I think they're the problem child of the 4. But Custodes got a fantastic detachment in Lions of the Emperor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Really good.
Really, really good. So it's one of those detachments that if you have a lot of just infantry bodies all over the place, it's time to bust them out and just go hard. Like if you have Termies, if you have your guard, your wardens, it's just an all-around good detachment.
I think guard is kind of the standout.
Yeah, guard's very good, yeah.
And the Allura shield captains.
Yeah, they got a big glow-up.
Yeah.
Big glow-up. There's the strat it's specifically for the Termies that splits them up.
Yep.
Right? So that's the one. So that's very cool.
The main one is the reusing their 0 damage rule.
Right.
1 damage rule, yeah.
Oh, yeah, everything goes down to 1 damage, sorry. Yeah.
And then you have enhancements in all of them, and they're running around and being annoying, being OC2.
Uppy downy at one point.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Lone opping one of them. Yeah, they're good.
Super good.
Yeah, that one enhancement's like +3 strength, plus AP, and then up to 4 damage or something.
+1 damage, yeah. So you bring it on the axe to make it strength 12, AP 2, 3 damage.
+1 to wound if you're playing it right.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus, Murphy. Very, very strong.
Yeah. And then not to mention you have all the guards as well. Like I don't know, you run, let's say, 3 to 5 guard units.
Jesus.
I think 5 units.
Is great.
And then 2 units of Loris, the 3 captains, and just a bunch of characters and some little sisters.
Yeah.
But like the re-rolling, the double shooting.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, with Kyria Draxus oftentimes.
Yeah, but you get +1 a wound with 4 re-rolls if you're on the objective.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
And it's strong. I don't think it's too strong. Maybe it's sitting around like the 54% win rate, maybe a little more. It's a very good detachment. I think they did a great job balancing it.
I think it's very well designed because it's like it does what custodians want to do, is like take their very elite units, very expensive, very elite units, and spread them out the board.
Yeah.
Go everywhere and find every corner of the board and go beat people up. That's very custodian-esque.
There's an excuse not to take Caladius grav tanks in that detachment because
Totally.
it benefits 0 from that detachment,
Yeah.
and it's kind of a boring unit.
Yeah, they're very good, but they don't have the feel of custodians going and punching your face in for the Emperor. So
And kind of being like solo out on your own, right? You get the benefit of just like going out on your own and doing your own thing as a custodian.
100%.
Right?
So very, very cool. Very cool detachment.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Tau got the experimental cadre.
Probably the most lackluster out of the 4 new ones.
Sure, of
You
these
get
releases.
extra range on your weapons, right?
Yeah, and some good enhancements and like specific strats that benefit certain weapons.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually haven't looked at the enhancements. I just know that I think just everything gets across the board 6 inches of range is like the detachment rule.
Tau already have 5 great detachments, so then they got one
Shit one.
Yeah,
One
one
kind
not
of-
exciting one.
It's an experimental one. It was just,
Exactly.
Just see how it feels like. No good. Okay, fine. We'll just get rid of it.
Experimenting.
Well, the Grotmus one actually, I played against Matt on TTS with the Grotmus detachment, the auxiliary cadre.
Yep.
Are they all cadres? Kind of.
Cadre.
That's their
Auxiliary
thing?
cadre.
Is it cadre or cadre?
Cadre. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
That one is actually very good. I think that's kind of a sleeper hit.
I think it's the best detachment.
I think
probably.
it might be the best.
Highest skill cap too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Siegler though in the Streamhouse RTT that they're running at the Art of War is running Monka.
Yeah, he is. That's right.
Yeah. Monk is just always going to be
Monk has
good.
always been good. Always been good. Kalyon's good. But the auxiliary cadre having a free fallback move at the end of any fight phase is so hard to like play around. It's similar in feel to like Yanari's lethal intent move because it's an out of phase movement effectively that just happens at the end no matter what, more or less no matter what.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's Matt was very gracious while we were playing, just being like, heads up, I know you're trying to like block this unit in or do this movement trick here. I'm just gonna move after you're done. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we talked about it in the last pod there too. Yeah.
Did you guys hit that one? Yeah.
Yeah, because me and him, I think we had him the same week almost, and it was
Nice.
very similar situations. And Matt was gracious, and then
And he will always be gracious if
Yeah.
you ever play him at a tournament.
I don't
Except
know.
on turn 5.
I don't think he will be turn 2 on, to be honest.
Well, like I said, in a
I
tournament,
think he'd give you your first one. I think he'd give you a freebie.
Yeah, I'll give you a freebie.
in a tournament, you have
But
to
you
at
should.
some point turn on the competitive spark. You gotta be like, okay, we did played nice for a couple turns, 3 turns, whatever. Or I've already reminded you this turn, 3 or 4 times, right? Like at a certain point, you
And
gotta
that's
play the
on
game.
you, right?
I can't play both of our armies at the same time, right? I shouldn't have to, right? So Tau got one, and I guess for our 4th was the demons. The daemons. We have the what's it actually
Really
called?
good
The
detachment.
Shadow Legion.
Shadow Legion.
Shadow Legion. So, excuse me. Bellicor got a big glow up. He got toughness boost. He got damage boost. He got a wounds boost. Just boosts across the board. Guy hits like a truck now. He's not just a utility piece that demons have been taking for a while. He's actually a good centerpiece, brawler.
But he went up in points.
Sure, appropriately so, yeah.
So the one thing, though, in the Shadow Legion, they can give dark packs.
Yep.
And he auto passes
Dark pack,
all
which
the
is
time.
kind of dope, actually. That's
So you're just giving sustain on all his attacks all the time.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
That's cool.
It's really cool.
Is that what Jake ran this weekend?
No, he ran Demonic Incursion.
Yep.
With 2 great unclean ones, Rodriguez?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's 3 big fat boys. A bunch of demon data slates or data sheets went up. Great unclean ones went to T13.
Nurglings went to T4.
Oh, that's,
Really?
Hold up.
That's gross. That's actually a very significant break point.
Is it? Why is
Very-
that for Nurglings?
Because it's like a unit of 3 is still 12 wounds at
Stormbolters
T4
are now wounding on 4s.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's how
Okay,
you kill
fair enough.
Nurglings.
Fair enough. And their rule change that it's not an aura of
right.
-1 to hit. It's while you're in engagement range.
Yeah,
but
so
it does
then
affect vehicles now.
You can get sometimes you can get a cheeky. Yeah, it does affect vehicles and monsters.
Right.
You can get a cheeky like, okay, well, I want to protect this unit, get a heroic intervene with them or something like that. Just like get them engagement range of said units, so you can protect another one. But like, I think they went down 5 points, so now I think they're more really for
Oh, they were
protecting your
reduced. I
scouts.
didn't know they went down in points.
Yeah, they went to
Interesting.
35. They were at 40.
Okay.
They're now more in, even if you're bringing them into the demons, which do have some great scouts with Beasts of Nurgle, because now they
Sure.
gave them
Yeah,
scout.
Beast of Nurgle have scout is
OC3,
great.
toughness 9, 7 wounds that heal every phase.
Immune to tank shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immune to tank
Yeah.
shock.
Immune to tank shot.
Yeah.
I remember someone told me that, and I'm like, what does that mean? They're immune.
Yeah, they are.
Effectively.
Yeah, but I don't think you can kill them.
No, you can't do it. Very cool.
No, I guess you could do.
No,
So you had,
you
like-
could.
because the end of the charge
I
phase.
think you could take in Shadow Legion. Can you not take a Rhino?
No idea.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. Why wouldn't you be able to take around? Oh,
So then Blood
no,
Crusher
actually, I
charge,
think I'm
Blood
not
Crusher
even
charge, tank shock.
Yeah, if you had multiple mortal wound in the charge
Okay,
phase,
here it is.
That is
Your
so niche.
Your Canis
I
Rex.
know.
never gonna happen.
Yeah, hold
I'm
on.
trying to
Hold
find
on.
it
Here,
just to
here
kill
we
a
go.
Beast of Nurgle.
Your Canis Rex charges a Beast of Nurgle, tank shocks it, and then your Lancer charges a Beast of Nurgle, tank shocks for free, and kills it. We figured
There
it out.
it
We found
is.
it. We
That's
found it,
it.
boys. That's the
What
anti.
a waste.
to kill one stinky little boy.
But then you get 3 inches extra on your charge because you get an activation.
That's it.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah, you better hope you're consolidating or piling into
Yeah,
something.
you better. Yeah. Or actually rolling 5-ups.
And I've been hearing about. I don't actually know the specific data slate change, so maybe you can tell me. Flesh hounds. Everybody's freaking about flesh hounds. Flesh hounds got uppy downy now, or something like that. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? You don't mind looking it up real quick? I keep on hearing that they got quite the glow up in this data slate.
In Shadow Legions, the big reason why you take them is your Khorne units
Right.
all get advanced in charge.
Yeah. Which is
That's
nuts.
really good.
Yeah, just straight up all the core
Like
gets
Blood
advanced in charge.
Crushers, Fiends, or not Fiends. What are the dogs? What are they called?
The flesh hounds.
Flesh Hounds. Sorry. I'm thinking Fiends for some
It's
reason.
okay.
They're
I'll
all
look it up.
because like Slanesh Fiends, the Slanesh part of it, no Overwatch. Zinch is -1 to hit, and the Nurgle is -1 to wound if you're stronger than it. The toughness, like the
That's
bodyguard.
good.
Right.
Very good.
Yeah. So flesh hounds got uppy downy at the end of your opponent's turn. If it's not engagement, take it off the board, put it in
That's
reserves.
amazing.
Wow, how
Super
many points is
Let's
that
see.
unit?
75, I think, for 5.
Unless they upped it, it is 75 for 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're kind of just worse Vespids, but still. It's
Well,
nice
when you
to
don't have Vespids.
They're the
then.
same as bikes then, but like less damage because
Yeah.
bikes would do the same thing.
All right, but I don't know if bikes are on the list of things they can take. So the other
Well,
thing about
bikes,
those
old
are
bikes.
those are no damage because you're probably not charging with them out of 9 inches.
right, if you're downing them. Yeah. So the other big thing about Shadow Legion is that you get to bring 1,000 points of Chaos Space Marines, which is very cool. There is a somewhat limited list of stuff you can bring. It's mostly just like their infantry and stuff. I don't think there's any vehicles, so I don't think there's rhinos in there necessarily. But
No, there is actually. Now that I think about it, there is because you
Is
can
there
do
rhinos?
rhinos, legionnaires, and stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Very
you
cool.
can take rhinos, havocs. You can take if you want some a little bit more like last cannon stuff, which is cool.
Yeah.
I don't think that I would want to go havocs that route. I think I'd rather go like legionnaires. I think you get a little bit more.
Is it really valuable? Do you just take demons instead? Like,
Well, you can get the legionnaires advanced charge too, and they can punch up above their weight,
Okay.
and then re-rolling hits or no wounds on objectives. I think that like, and then I think they can go uppy downy too. There's a strat that does it.
Maybe there's a strat in there.
It's a strat that does it. A strat you can uppy downy on your legionnaire. So I'm out. Boom. See you later, and then come back later
Sneak.
another point.
Oh, and notably, they can have deep strike. That's also the big deal. So
It gives everything
giving
dips.
giving those Chaos Space Marines that they do ally in deep strike is a big deal, especially
Actually,
for
I might take back that
especially for-
havoc rule.
I was
Then.
going to say
Yeah.
for havocs, that's a big deal. Just being able to plop
that's
havocs
very,
in there.
That's very good.
Yeah, so you don't really need those rhinos, but maybe you can be able to take them
Can
anyway.
you
but-
uppy downing the rhinos?
Wasn't that supposed to be a Emperor's Children thing? Is that an
It is.
Emperor's Children
Yeah.
thing?
It is,
It is.
yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember if that actually made it through or not, if that was just a rumor.
I'm gonna find. I'll look at some strats. You guys keep chatting.
So demons, yeah, the big glow up. That's a very good. So The Shadow Legion, there was some other thing said in the Dataslate that implied, I don't remember the details on this, maybe you know better than I do, but they said that they're effectively not going to be getting a codex. Do you remember, did you hear about this?
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
Which makes sense because I think they're integrating all the demon units into the Chaos Space Marine books. So like World Eaters are getting all the Khorne demons, Emperor's Children are getting all the Slaanesh demons, and so on.
So so demons as a standalone army will effectively just exist as an index army.
And they'll probably get they got their 2 detachments, and they'll probably get, who knows, a few more.
Well, they got their 2 undivided detachments, and then their god detachments.
Yes.
Which, while we're discussing it, what's it called? The Legion of Excess, the Slaanesh demons.
So sad.
Got absolutely smoked.
That's exactly as we predicted the other week.
Holy moly.
Yeah, because all the data sheets are as in the Emperor's Children Codex.
Right.
The Keepers lost a bunch of war gear options, which makes it so they can't feel no pain.
Oh.
And just a bunch of not nice nerfs for them.
Well, an interesting one that was the removal, or I guess being sent to Legends, of all of their chariots.
Yeah. And the chariots were pretty good.
Chariots were very good.
Yeah.
Especially there was the one where it gave out a feel no pain against mortals, and that's when you're sloughing off the mortal wounds using the strat.
And they were cheap. They were really good.
And they were cheap, and they were fast.
I stand corrected. There's no rhinos. There's no rhinos. But there is uppy downy strat. If they're not in engagement range, 1 CP, boom, you're up.
For anything, basically. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So yeah, you don't need the rhino.
Any Shadow Legion Heretic Astartes or Shadow Legion Demonica.
There you go.
So, yeah,
everything you're
anything.
taking. Cool.
So not rhinos, no uppy downy rhinos, because you can't take rhinos.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, you just have the mobility from teleporting.
But doing that with Havocs, coming down, shooting something out of Deep Strike, boom, uppy downy, getting something else.
Anything you can uppy downy that's a good shooting platform is going to be good.
Yeah, fast shooting is just generally.
But if you have to pay CP for it, maybe it's not worth it. Who knows?
Interesting thought. And so when I realized that they had gotten rid of all of the chariots are one of the, if I'm not mistaken, I don't actually play Sigmar. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. There are Slaanesh demon chariots in Age of Sigmar. And I think we've seen over the course of even just the past year to 2 years, a shift of GW not really wanting to promote that, you have a 40k demons army that can also play Sigmar. Seems like they've been trying to kill that wherever they can, basically.
Which is weird, because you'd think that if I have a 40k army that could play Sigmar, I'd be getting into the other game.
That's the logic.
Yeah, they've done the exact same thing with Horse Heresy models.
Oh,
they start taking away their 40k rules.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. Right. They legend a whole bunch of stuff.
But they still have new kits and new molds for the Horse Heresy, like the Leviathan Dreadnought.
Right. Yeah, it seems like they're definitely going the direction of your one army is good for one game. That's it. And yeah, it's interesting because it's
more money.
Well, more money, but but to what Cass said, if you have a
gateway drug, though,
right? If you have a demons army and you can play both, then I will never play Sigmar because I'm never going to have a Sigmar army. But if I have a demons army that can play Sigmar, well, then I might play a Sigmar game from time to time, and I might get into it. And okay, well, what's other good Sigmar armies that I could play? Or, it's a little foot in the door to a different game. But from the other side,
another gateway drug.
It's the gateway drug, exactly.
Yeah.
But the alternate, I guess, path is if you want to play Sigmar, I'm going to make you buy a whole other army. James Workshop says your barrier to entry is another army, so pay up, sucker.
Yeah, GW makes a lot of decisions that don't make sense, but
unless you think about the dollars.
Well, even then, you'd think that if they gave 40k rules to Horse Heresy models, they'd sell more models. You'd think, but
Well, there are some, right? There's I know in Knights, there's Horse Heresy. The Lancer is a Horse Heresy model. All the Cerastus class are all Horse Heresy. So there's some exceptions, but generally you're correct. Yeah, they did the big culling kind of when codexes started coming out and stuff. So I know a bunch of Space Marine stuff and Tau stuff. And wait, no, Tau's not in Horse Heresy, but you know what I mean. They legend a bunch of stuff strategically.
They probably existed at some point in Horse Heresy.
I don't think they do.
They had a planet. They were hanging out.
They just weren't
I think they were like fish at that point.
Or cows.
Oh, they were.
It's a new race,
true,
right?
Yeah.
They're only 8,000 years old or something like that.
Is it only 8,000 years old?
I think so.
Canonically? I didn't know that. So they were just actual fish in pools 10,000 years ago.
Still pretty fast.
And then had the hooves come around, though. They crawled out and then they mated with the cow folk of the land and got hooves.
And started building laser beams.
Started building laser beams.
I think it's a Brian Cox question.
Yeah, right. So new detachments, very exciting. Of course. So we've buried the lead long enough. Along with those 3 other pretty good but normal detachments.
Yeah.
We got the more DAKKA detachment, which if you guys haven't heard already, I'm sure you probably have. It's kind of busted, kind of crazy. It is. I mean, effectively, I think the detachment rule is all of your shooting gets sustained 2, and if you are in the WA, you get assault, which kind of sounds good. Sounds very good.
It's awesome.
It is very good actually. People have done the math on it. It's absolutely bonkers broken, and there's also a strat to put units in the WA, which is very abusable by some kind of rather innocuous units.
Well, if you think about it, you know, you would pay 1 CP to give something assault.
Of course.
Right? Like you would just do that, like, hey, I need to do this. Play an assault. Oh, you would pay 1 CP to give something a 5-up info. You would pay 1 CP to give it advance and charge.
Right.
You would get 1 strength, 1 attack for 1 CP. Yeah. You get 1 CP, you get all of that.
All the things.
All those things for 1 CP. And you can do that every turn. Right? Like you can... Yep. And it stays in there until your next command phase, which is the tough part. And that's what makes it, I think, the thing so good. And also... the way orcs are designed is that their guns are very powerful,
right,
but they can never hit you.
They're inconsistent.
Yeah. And that's great, but that's what makes up for it, right? But now you're giving a profile of even hitting on 6s or 5s. You're essentially giving it +2 to hit with sustained 2s.
Right.
The way the math would work.
Right.
Now, if you spike, it's even better.
Then crazy good.
But essentially, you're giving it +2. Then they have rerolls with the Ludas. So then now it's 100% hit rate or 115% hit rate or something like that.
Right. On guns that are like you said, balanced to not hit that much.
Yeah. That's right.
Right. All of a sudden they're hitting like crazy.
And 100-point 10-man block.
Right. Little.
Yeah. I think that's the big problem. It's 100 points.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's 100 points. It's 150 points. It's less of a problem. That's probably what they should be. Is 100.
Sure.
Points.
I also think the WA strat should probably be 2 CP.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that they can't raise points. They can't raise points on the orcs units
because
then you
can't take Ludas and other detachments.
Exactly.
Right?
You're nerfing all the other orc detachments. So,
fair.
Yeah, we'll see. It's obviously a problem. I think everybody was kind of sounding the alarm pretty early. And what were you saying
not
before?
You. Not
me.
Sorry, Dave. Dave was the only one saying it's fine, guys. Don't worry about it. They have to roll 6s.
It's fine.
Dave, I mean, you don't roll. Maybe it's because you don't roll 6s, right? You're like, I never roll 6s, so
it's never
can't be that bad.
No,
right?
the one game I played against them, he rolled abysmally, but even if he did roll average and he just picked everything up, it just didn't. I don't know.
So we did play in an RTT this past weekend with 2 orcs. Yeah, I think 2 orc lists that were running more DAKKA. And they did good, but they didn't win. I think they didn't even top. I think Corey might have got top 5 or something like that. Or
Corey went 2-1.
Corey got 5. Yeah. Corey got top 5.
Was it top 5? Anyway, he did good, but it didn't like dominate the tournament, nothing like that. However, I guess before we start recording, you were saying there was 2. Do you know the names of the GTs where like the top 3 was all orcs?
We can find out.
It's okay if you don't know off the top of your head, but basically there was 2 big like super majors.
Believe so.
Where orcs went.
At least one of them was, yeah.
Where orcs went first, second, and third.
Yeah, they took the whole podium.
Jesus, perfect. That's whoo, baby. That's spicy. That's
all
a lot
more
of DAKKA.
DAKKA.
That's a lot of DAKKA. Of course, it's more DAKKA.
Yeah.
Did you guys look at the lists? Is there any variation of the list, or is it 3 Ludas, 3 tank busters, the Grot unit, and just a bunch of stuff?
I have to assume that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like as long as you have that core, that's like what you can do. Bring whatever else after that. Which if you have points, I've heard a lot of lists are doing. What's the big boss? What's the big boy? The biggest of the orcs.
Gazgul.
Yeah.
Dothraka.
Dothraka. They're not Dothraki. That's different. I think it's Gazgul something Thraka. It's not. They're not Dothraki.
Dothraka.
That's different. You're mixing up your nerddoms. That's
cool with me.
That's Game of Thrones.
That's cool with me.
But so he and the boys get buffs when they're in the WA. So if you have just a put them in the wall whenever you want to put them in the wall. It's extremely strong.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
I think they
orc players, please correct me.
They reroll saves of 1 or something. And
I think that was the Bully Boys detachment
specifically.
Okay. But there is buffs while they're in the wall.
Yeah.
And also the you mentioned the little grot leader guy can scout with them, and then
Zodgrod.
There you go. Nailed that one.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy though, because you can put a 20 like Gretchen unit, and then Zodgrod would do it, and then he gives them +1 to hit, +1 to wound.
Okay.
And then -1 to wound to hit them, and then they get a 5-up invul.
And they scout 9 inches or something crazy.
He also gives them scout 9, and then they move advanced charge, but so that's its 12-inch move, scout 9.
Yeah, right. They can tar pit your whole army
immediately turn 1,
depending on what army you're bringing.
And you don't.
It's a 21-inch move, turn 1, tar pit it out, and have a 5-up invul with a -1 to wound.
And that's only possible because you can wah on just that unit. You don't waste your wah for the rest of your army. You just wah that one unit for 1 CP, and off you go.
That's right.
So
and they can advance and charge it too. So if they don't want to, I think it's an auto advance too. Yeah, it's an auto advance 6.
Jesus.
With Zodgrod, and then if they want to charge you, they can. So if they want, you kind of expose some tanks, I'm just gonna go and charge you and tag all your tanks and just sit there. And then now I can set up, and then looters can come and kill the rest of your board.
Sure, yeah, it's gonna tar pit you for 1 turn, but
maybe even 2 turns.
Jesus,
it's -1 to wound.
Yeah, depending on what your army is.
I guess that's true. Depending on what it is, I think a lot of stuff can.
Some armies it might be 3 turns.
God, I freaking hope not.
Yeah. All my good stuff's in deep strike. You ain't leaving.
Yeah, so there's definitely a problem. Like you said, we've seen hot fixes come quick before, so I expect we probably, given we've seen such a ridiculous result so quickly.
I'd say expect it this week or next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think that quick, eh? I think next week is almost
so,
guaranteed.
because Star Shatter got their rules, and I think immediately the same week they came out.
It wasn't
before
that quick.
LVO.
If I remember, it might have been because LVO was looming. Well, we got in for Grotmas, and it was one of the first ones, so it was early December, and then it was by the end of December, so it was maybe 3. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, but it might 2 to 3 weeks.
There's also no real tournaments happening there because it's Christmas time.
That's true. It was a little bit quieter of a meta, but we did have LVO coming up, so they did want to hit it before that happened, I'm sure. But and also the changes to Star Shatter were pretty tactical. They weren't huge changes. They upped the cost of a few strats, changed how a couple of strats worked, and that's it. So not really that crazy of a thing. I've seen a lot of suggestions for the orcs that they just flip the buffs. So you would get sustain 2 during the wah and assault always. So instead of having to flip, even just that, and then turning the wah strat to 2 CP, that honestly could be enough.
I think there needs to be some point adjustments too, but because you get a lot in that list.
But wouldn't that just kill any other orc
I'm
detachment?
not saying a significant, but 10 points, 20 points on the Ludas, and then some adjustments on the Grots and Zodrog and stuff like that.
Just have a pretty crazy go
just put the list up 100 points sort of thing.
But if that's actually, I just thought of this. If you put the strat up by 2, that means they can't pull off that charge you turn 1.
That's right. That's right.
So even that's a good nerf right there.
Yeah,
it is. Right. And then doing what you're saying.
Unless you find the good bits, you can find the good bits with the dudes. So never mind, I lied. You could. So you have a 50% chance of doing it turn 1, basically.
But then again, that's still less than 100% chance.
It is much less than. It's much less than 100. Correct.
So it's more situational. And then by switching that as well, they're just gonna have a crazier go turn. Their wah turn's just gonna be crazy.
Right. Well, yeah, which is kind of how orcs should be, right? The wah should be strong. That you should be medium strong otherwise. Yeah, I think that'd be a good change. Yeah, maybe some points on I don't think orc lists were taking a lot of Ludas in the first place, so if you target Ludas specifically for more DAKKA, you're probably fine.
Yeah. 100 points is just kind of ludicrous for that unit.
Ludicrous?
Ludicrous.
Oh, David.
Very intended.
So silly, this guy. Well, we will see something. I'm pretty confident we will see some kind of nerf pretty quick, and it's not going to be the next Dataslate. It's going to be well before that.
No. If it's not this week, I think it'll be the next.
Yeah.
I'm happy though. I got a teams event this weekend.
That's right.
We have an orc player.
Oh, do you? Nice.
More DAKKA.
Yeah, I was going to ask. What is he playing?
Even if the Dataslate comes out on Thursday, I'm that's cool.
Because
it'll be gone for Fool's Errand.
You said lists are already even open now, right? So rules lock is long gone.
Yeah.
You guys are locked in for more DAKKA, as I'm sure many teams are.
We're locked in for more DAKKA.
More DAKKA.
I think there's 2 more other orc.
How many teams is it?
16.
16, and only 3 orcs?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I have to run through it again. I only saw bits, but
Sure.
I was working all day, so
That's fair.
I can
Oh, did they released lists today?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
if they like sitting them for a
No,
while.
because we submitted them last night.
Oh, they're quick. They move fast over there in Kelowna, hey?
Yeah,
They're cruising.
Yeah, they're
I like
cruising.
it.
I'm pretty excited.
Do they do pairings yet, or just lists?
Just lists.
Cool.
And it's WTC terrain, so it's a little different. We're gonna do some practicing. Yeah, it's and then they already put out their missions and stuff already too. So I'm
They did
pretty
missions.
excited.
You have a good idea. That's
Yeah.
good. I like when tourneys do that.
And they got what they're doing. It's in the WC terrain, so you got light, medium, heavy, and all your tables.
Gotcha.
It's not necessarily it's not GW layout. So
That's sweet. Other changes during the Dataslate were some points changed to Space Marines. Space Marines saw some increases here and there, but the biggest change was the you can't do the Bloodless Angels anymore. So if you want the +1 to wound against your Oath target, you have to be one of the actual Codex chapters.
okay.
So your Ultramarines obviously kept it, which people were kind of humming and hawing about whether that was a good idea or not. Like Ultramarines are very, very
I think
strong.
GW just wants Ultramarines to always be good.
It certainly seems that way.
I don't think they're that good. They're like a B+ tier army,
Ooh.
A-.
Oh, I think they're maybe not A. They're not S.
Well, you
they're
play
not
Knights,
orcs.
so they're probably.
Yeah, I ran into a
they're
nasty Ultramarines Gladius on the weekend. It hurt real bad.
Knights don't like that.
Knights did not like that.
Knights
No,
don't
I was
like that.
complaining before we started filming about
Went to Votan and then Ultramarines.
Votan
Yeah,
and then
it's both.
Vindicator, Dreadnought, Shooty, Ultramarines, and I was just like, wounding my Canis Rex on 2s is bleh. It's nasty. Rerolling 1s if I'm on the right objective, like just brutal. But yeah, so no more. You have to be Codex, you have to be whatever, White Scars, Salamanders, etc. to get the +1 to wound, which is good. I think they probably need more. You're right. So if Games Workshop wants Ultramarines to stay good, this was the correct path.
Yeah.
If James Workshop wanted, I interchange. I'm trying to stop myself from saying one and I say the other one by accident. So if Games Workshop wanted more White Scars, they wanted more. I'm trying to think of other chapters. Generic dudes, Salamanders. If they wanted more of those guys, they needed to take it away from the Ultramarines. Because then you might actually see in those lists pop up here and there. But while Ultramarines are just the best Space Marines, then that's all you're going to see.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of the post children too, right? Like,
Yeah, they're the good guys.
yeah,
The main guys.
they're the heroes. Titus
And Gladius. And Gladius is just such a good detachment. It's like, do you have this rule? Yes. I kept asking Jeremy over the weekend, fall back and charge? Yeah. Advance and shoot? Yeah. Advance charge? Yeah. Just whatever I need. I just got it at some point.
And I have 1 CP. I could put him in any
Yep.
doctrine. I
Yeah,
can do
Everything's
whatever I
good.
want. Yeah,
What a wildly good detachment.
And
And
we have
reactive move.
5 million CP a turn? Okay.
yeah, also that too. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you want what's his face? Gorilla Man to fight on death? Yeah, no problem. Good to go. Wild.
He fights on death.
I think there's a strat for fight on death.
Oh wow.
I was
I
told
didn't know
there
that.
was. Adam told me there was. So I blame Adam if I'm doing fake news right now. Another. Unless you guys want any more comments on Space Marines? How do you feel about Space Marines in the meta now?
I've always been fine with that. I play Death Guard. I don't.
Yeah, you're like,
they're
whatever.
fine.
Yeah, like there's a power armor unit, right? So or a power armor army.
Yeah.
And having the extra AP on everything is kind of like a dead Marine can't do anything to me. I'm not saying that like I think though like the double oath and the +1 a wound. I think they're significantly harder to beat as a Death Guard player.
Yeah.
But I still don't struggle. It's definitely like a more of a favorable matchup. It's not a blowout though by any means anymore. It used to be.
My only issue with that army is like how much CP it gets. It's ludicrous how much.
Yeah, they
It's
start
insane.
the game with 9 essentially.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you get can't be ludicrous. That's only for orcs.
Everything's ludicrous.
It gets +1 from Calgar and Guila Man gives you free ones. It's just,
a free one to
just-
anyone within 6 as well.
Yeah, it's just too much.
I think you start the game with extra CP too, maybe.
I think it's just,
I'm sure you
I think it's
do.
just
Yeah,
Calgar.
I don't know.
Yeah,
when
you
you
start-
play an Ultramarine player, it's like you always just have 4 CPA and some free strats. You know? You don't even they don't even have to keep track of their CP.
Nah, just
they always just have
it's in the
enough.
bank. You're good
Yeah.
to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, you scratched your nose funny, so I get extra CP. So
Yeah. Whatever rule I want it's what I have. Yeah.
The other one I wanted to mention that you might be stoked for is Knight's got a very tiny buff, the tiniest of buffs that were targeted specifically at David. Did you catch this one?
No.
What got buffed, David?
The Valiant went down 30 points.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, that's pretty good.
It's sitting at a nice 480.
480. Yep.
And with the enhancement, the uppy down enhancement, I believe it's 30 points as well.
Yeah, 25, 30.
So
now you
you
just
take
get
it
free
at
enhancement.
510. It's actually pretty decent value for what you get. I like it.
Yeah.
If I was playing Knights, I'd probably run that and the Warden and Armigers.
Oh, no Canis, hey? Three's hard to run.
Three's hard to run. In teams, that's exactly
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
run,
sure.
is I'd run the 3 and then the Armigers. But for singles, I don't know. It's a toss-up because all 3 of those are so good.
For sure. I did run the Warden on the weekend, and I found it is super good. I actually teched into like DAKKA and World Eaters and Custodies and faced none of them, of course. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's like overall meta. We're in Calgary.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
wild, crazy shit.
Actually, we do have a crazy.
I was
going to
say
we have some of the best players.
we have a
in
lot of
Canada,
Custodies and a
but,
lot of
like,
World Eaters, so I thought we'd hit them, but it just didn't happen. So
there's only there was 2 Custodian players and
there
2
was
World Leader players.
yes, I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Warden is very, very good. Giving out -1 damage to 2 Armigers is very, very good. But you have to be very, I guess, knowledgeable about your opponent's army to know where that -1 damage is going to be like most effective. Because if you're just getting shot by las cans and stuff, then it doesn't actually matter that much.
For sure. You generally don't put it on something that's going to... like you're not putting it on an Armiger and putting it in the center if you're taking las cannons.
Right.
Because -1 damage
Yeah, it
las
just doesn't do
cannons
anything.
doesn't
So
do anything.
it's very good, but it's very like it's a precision type effectiveness. Like if you don't get
It
the money's
opens up
worth,
some matchups,
Yeah,
and then
for
some
sure.
matchups it doesn't really do anything.
just doesn't do anything. Yeah, for sure. But it was fun, and yeah, it's we'll see with I don't know with the Castellan and the Valiant being what is that 30 points more than Canis.
Yeah.
There's some play there. I think
there's
we'll
some
see some
consideration for
experimentation. I've just had Castellan do like nothing in shooting so many times that it hurts my heart too much.
Valiant's never done nothing in shooting.
Valiant is
He's
impossible.
never done
It's impossible.
nothing.
The poon is just too
Or
good.
the Poon. And then it's just, if anything, it's just sitting on a mid-objective
Yeah.
with,
Pooning.
Being a
pooning,
bully.
Being a bully.
Yeah.
Yeah, being at sometimes T14
Yeah.
and just being like, screw you.
Yep.
T14.
Yeah, shoulder burden +1 everything.
Oh yeah.
Remember? Sometimes.
Remember.
Yeah.
Very good.
And then
remember.
Eldar took a bit of a points increase. I think
Like a bit. When you say a bit, you mean like a tiny bit.
I think we said most lists would go up like 40 to 60 points, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Fire Dragons went up 10, which is what happened.
Mhm.
So 30 points in pretty much every list.
Right.
And then a couple other
I think
things
Wave
went up.
I think they
Serpents
need-
went
Wave
up
Serpents,
10.
yeah.
I think they need to go up a little bit more. Those Fire Dragons.
I
Those
disagree.
Fire Dragons?
I disagree.
I think they're fine at their.
I think it's the same problem. It's the same problem that Orcs have.
They have too many rules.
You don't do points nerfs at this point with Eldar because other Eldar attachments are not the problem, right? They're strong, they're good, but they're not anywhere near where Yunari is,
Yeah,
right?
but
They just need
But in
like
aspect
less
hosts,
rules.
Fire
Like,
Dragons are just as
why
good.
do they have assault?
Right.
Wait, Fire Dragons have assault?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I didn't know that. What do you do to them? Remove assault, I guess you could. It wouldn't really matter that much, I don't think. Rerolling hits, wounds, and damage is wild. Is there anything in the game that does that?
Not even Morven Vol, because she doesn't reroll damage.
She's just hits and wounds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Eradicators are only wounds and damage, I want
Right.
to say.
I don't know if anything that does all three. Usually you get like
Yeah.
a good 2.
They could go up another 10 points probably.
They could go up
Yeah, I
another
think
10
so.
points.
At least 10. I think. So what are they now? 130 for.
They're 110.
110.
110 for 5.
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
I think 150 for 5. No, hear me out though. But you're not running 3 anymore. You're just going down to the 2, and your trade pieces are just a little different. So the rules don't necessarily change, but they go up to 150. You just essentially just get rid of one of the units. So you're not running the 3, and you could probably sneak in another Dark Reaper squad then.
Right.
Like-
Which also very good. Dark Reapers are also
Yeah,
very
those
good.
are also very good, but that's why I'm saying like I think you want to try to like increase their points to limit them down to like spam 3
Sure.
to go down to 2. And still be fine, like, and still have all their rules, but like at 110 assault, full hit rolls, full wound rolls, full down rolls, melt to 6, melt to 3. Fuck you. No, like that's
move a million inches.
Move a million inches.
Ignore
Overwatch.
Yeah.
Like, there's just too many things cascading on it that if you're gonna keep the Ynnari rules or even aspect host rules, because then they can go right back into transport.
Yep, that's right. That's true.
So limiting that just to like down to 2, so then the trade isn't as bad because they can literally go into right in front of 2 vehicles and split fire and kill both.
Yeah,
depending on the vehicle,
you gotta
like
get
rhinos
lucky,
and stuff
but
for sure.
Rhinos are like any kind of rhino chassis for sure.
Yeah. Like you gotta get lucky, but if you do that 3 times in a game, it's gonna happen once.
Oh, did we mention one auto 6?
Yeah,
did I forget that one?
Right. on your melt to 6 one,
on
the wound roll, right? Yeah, that's the one you want to do.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, that's a good point. I got Mark to print me off Wave Serpent and 2 units of Fire Dragons.
Well, so hopefully 2 units. See, I'm okay with that.
See, because I am playing Harlequins though, and I found Harlequins. I've had a couple little practice games here and there. Harlequins are lacking for good anti-tank, like proper dedicated anti-tank, because Void Weavers are not good, super bad in my opinion. But having 1 Wave Serpent with 2 units of Fire Dragons in it changes the game entirely. Like all of a sudden, you actually do
when
it.
you meta chase.
Okay,
you get your stuff painted and ready to play, and then it gets nerfed.
What about the? We talk about Ynnari a lot in this channel, but I guess it just came out. But
it's the new hotness.
What's the ruling that not everyone's sure that Wave Serpents can actually go into Ynnari? Like, what is the restrictions on Ynnari? Because I think there might be like a ruling, but most tournaments are allowing it.
Yeah, it's a keyword issue, some kind of keyword issue.
Sure.
Because you're not allowed to bring Asuryani units in Ynnari. There's a keyword issue. I don't know the exact. Like I play Eldars, but I play.
So make that the case too for Ynnari, and that might give it a little bit of a.
Oh, that they can't take that. Well, make that actually like a solid ruling, like no Wave Serpents in Ynnari.
Sure.
Yeah, that would really limit the army. Can't
like
keep all your stuff
like
safe
because then you'd have to be like no Falcons too, like no X these vehicles, right?
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Because if you said no Wave Serpents, they'd just take Falcons. They just take. I think there's one more transport that I can't think of, but yeah, that'd be interesting. Nerf Ynnari a little bit. They've been doing good, but not like ORKS good.
63% win rate, I believe.
Is that what it's
still
at?
Way too high.
That is very high. Okay.
Yeah. It should be at 55. 55, 45 is where you always want to be, right?
Of course, right.
So
I didn't know they're that high.
But what did they work? 72%.
When you look at a high win rate too, that's the average player.
Right.
Right. So a person who's going 4-1 or a person who's consistently in T-Whip probably has like a 90% win rate with Ynnari.
Yeah.
So
right, there's
probably too strong.
There's people getting stomped. There's people winning big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very fair. Yeah, Ynnari's going to be. They'll be good, but.
Well, and the thing is with Lethal Intent, they got 3 rules there, but the Lethal Intent was the main one.
Yeah.
Is it happens at the end of the shooting phase, and they're so bad at holding primary because they can't just sit there. They're just going to get shot off. Well, now they can just move on to it and just deny your primary.
Yep.
Whatever you try to set up, they can deny it. And if you don't want to set up onto that because you want to like kind of stage behind and like shoot something off a point, then they make it sticky. Yeah. So then there's like no real way, like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing.
Yeah, you
and
can't
I think that there has to be some kind of balancing act between it all. They are a manageable matchup, but they are overpowered because they can punish.
If you don't have the tools to deal with them, you're gonna have a bad time.
For sure.
And like you don't want to skew just for Ynnari too. Like you can go all indirect, all flamers, and probably do better. And like have more vehicle just to skew them out on their banshees, and just have only the Fire Dragons be the only threat. But then what are you doing?
Yeah, but then hull spam kicks your butt.
But
right?
anything else
you run
kicks your
into
butt.
like mechanized anything.
You run into Custodies, they kill you.
Yeah, right.
You run into Whirlies, they kill you.
Well, even then, the Ynnari list still runs Wraithlord, which have a 2-up base save.
No,
so you still
is that common or is that just Fraser?
Yeah, is
that pretty common?
It's a really good vehicle.
Okay.
It's a really strong chassis.
Awesome.
Yeah,
interesting.
Awesome unit.
For some reason, it's T10. I don't know why. It's a little skinny guy.
Yeah, actually, T10 is a bit surprising. I would think. I guess Dreadnoughts, a bunch of Dreadnoughts are T10 too now.
It should be T9 because like say they got a Bloat Drone or a Mythic, like they're T9. They're like that like lighter vehicle skew.
Right.
Being a T9.
Yeah, but Wraithbone is strong.
They're like that big.
Wraithbone.
And they're so skinny. Like that's not a T9.
Spindly
that's
guys.
like a T8 looking guy. You know.
But the fact that Dreadknights are T8 and they're T9.
Yeah.
Well,
T10.
no. Dreadnoughts are old. Dreadnoughts are T9.
Dreadknights are T8.
Dreadknights.
Oh, Dreadknights. Sorry, I thought you said Dreadnoughts.
But Dread Knights
yeah.
Dread Knights are just too good, so they need to be T8.
Right.
Mythic Blighthaulers wound Dread Knights on
Well,
twos.
they're T.
That's so weird.
Wait, hold on. Dread Knights are T8?
Yeah.
Jesus, that's really low. But they're
Really
they're
low.
T8 because they're very
Baby
vulnerable
carriers.
with the little guy out front.
Yeah, I
If he
think
was
that's
inside,
their logic.
if he was
but-
inside, that's T10 for sure.
But it's just kind of frustrating looking at that thing
Yeah.
with all the guns and the hammer it has, and then it's not as tough as a Rhino. It's just kind of like,
It's like twice the size of it.
yeah.
Three times the width.
Well, Rhino, the argument to a Rhino makes more sense because it's more of a hull, so they probably
Yeah.
fortify it.
Right.
Where the Wraith Knight doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but Wraithbone is very special. It's a very special compound. Okay, I'm a Eldar stan now. Okay.
What's the armor? What's the armor that Grey Knights have?
Trust
silver armor?
hope in the Emperor.
Like 2-up armor, true silver? What are you talking
Trust
about?
I'm not
me.
talking about the strat. I'm just talking about like the lore, like what kind of
Yeah,
armor.
they have true silver armor.
Yeah, okay, so
true.
the Dread Knight has true silver armor.
I'm pretty sure it's
Great
just
song.
like Ceramite that's imbued with like,
Yeah.
the warp energies. I don't know.
Right. Learn your Grey Knights
You
lore.
will learn my.
he just plays
Learn
the
your
game.
army.
He doesn't.
Yeah, we don't lore. We
Oh,
don't-
come on.
Have you ever read any 40K books?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, have
I
you?
have read a ton of them. I don't remember any of them. But
Yeah.
Read or Audible?
Audible.
Because I'm an Audible.
Audible.
Yeah. Okay. Good. No,
I don't know how to read.
Yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
how to read.
Yeah.
Who knows how to read?
Audible's great when you're driving around all day. Like,
Oh, it's the
Oh,
best,
it's
dude.
awesome.
put it on.
Back
and
in-
painting's
Painting's
really
actually a
good.
good idea. I didn't think of that. I always do it when I'm going back and forth from Edmonton. My Edmonton trips that I do multiple times a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can basically bang out a whole book in like 2 Edmonton trips.
Yeah.
It's great. It's awesome.
Yeah. Whenever we drive to Saskatchewan to visit the in-laws and stuff, it's always
That's a
like
full
we'll get
book.
one.
Yeah.
We'll get one in and then a half one after.
I
Yeah.
tried to listen to an orc book. It was difficult. It was difficult. It was entertaining for, I think I got like half an hour in, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It wasn't interesting enough to get over the orc accent. The other one was a White Scars book,
Oh, wow.
where they actually do Asian accents, and I was like, this is interesting.
Genghis Khan.
Well, I get it.
You know.
Are White Scars? I know we're getting off track here, but are White Scars canonically like Mongols? Like,
Yes.
are they?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, fair enough. There you go. Maybe I'll give it another shot. It just took
Because
me
they're Mongols, you're giving another shot.
it seemed
What a weeb.
Oh, if they're Mongols, I'm in.
I mean, who doesn't love a good Mongol? Who doesn't love a good Genghis Khan? I thought that was just like a meme of them being Asian oriented or whatever stuff like
I think
that.
like every single chapter kind of has like a some
Like an
little,
Earth equivalent, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I guess like Ultramarines, are like the Romans.
Yeah.
Sure. Same with Imperial Fist though.
Tau.
Tau
Japanese.
also have Asian accents. I haven't listened to a Tau book,
They're
but
Gundam
apparently
suits. They're from Japan.
right. They're Japanese. The Japanese fish
What
cow
would be
people.
salamanders then? Because they're I know they're darker skinned because the ash. But
I don't want to say anything.
But like
I
they're
was
not,
avoiding
come
that
on.
one specifically, Cass.
Oh,
They're not. Yeah. Anyway, so Dataslate.
Hawaiians.
Dataslate,
Because of volcanoes.
Interesting nerf in the Dataslate I did want to mention was to the bridgehead detachment in the Astra Militarum, because we saw them dominating pretty significantly for a while. Like they're doing very, very good in tournaments and stuff like that. They correct me if I'm wrong. You might know better than I do, David. Stop smiling at me.
This is funny.
They moved their +1 to wound in the detachment rule, right? That's +1 to wound when you drop, or is it just always
It's when you get out of a transport.
when you're
Or
set
drop,
up?
yeah.
Right. Whenever
Or drop,
you're set up.
But of a Torox was the main thing they would do, or drop.
Right, or
Yeah.
drop. So when you drop, you had +1 to wound. They moved that over to a +1 to hit.
Which was weird because that's what they had it before, right?
Well, they get that from an order already.
Right.
And I don't know if it's +1 a hit. Between the order and the detachment rule, is it +1 a hit or +1 ballistic skill? So do they hit on 2s when they're coming out? I'm not sure. Somebody let us know.
Good. That's a good question. I can't pull it up because they have a codex, but it's a good question. I think it's just a duplicate. I've heard
Either
people
way,
complaining it's a duplicate. Either way, it's a nerf.
It's a nerf.
It's a significant nerf.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, all of your like strength,
Well,
your
now 2 Tempest Scion activations doesn't kill Mortarion.
yeah, no kidding.
And
That's real.
For sure not. Yeah.
And they took pretty significant points increases also.
Yeah, points increases, big nerf to Bridgehead. Is Bridgehead dead? Would that
Probably
change?
not.
No.
I think it's just a
Is there-
balanced. Is it a balanced army? Yeah.
Probably,
so
right.
it's
But
it's
Regiment's
dead.
now. But
So now it's dead.
Isn't Regiment just better now?
That's what I was going to ask. Is there just better options in the codex
think
now?
so.
Probably, right?
Yeah, I think so. Speaking of which, I know we were talking a little bit of the lore and everything else. I kind of want to take a moment here. And over the weekend as well, before we went to the RTT, we got invited to Space Marine VR. It was cool. So it's this place called Zero Latency. It's in here in Calgary. They have another store in Edmonton. They also have a store in Vancouver.
Cool.
They have this Space Marine. I think they're the only ones with the rights to having Space Marine.
Is it Space Marine 2 like the video game?
Yeah, essentially, yes.
Kind of, sort of.
Essentially, like I would say the graphics are like Space Marine 1, but like it's really cool. So you go into a briefing room like you're playing laser tag, and they like talk to you about like, oh, here's your headset, here's your guns, this is how the gun works. Mm-hmm. You can choose to go on hard or just normal. When you go on hard, you can do friendly fire.
Oh,
but every time you kill somebody, you get like a negative 1,000 points.
Okay, got it.
So you don't want to do that, and you also take more damage.
Sure.
Or everyone just goes hard and they go at it. Now, there was 8 of us in this. And we all got suited up with the VR set right up top. And then you just go into basically an empty room.
Yeah, a big like warehouse empty room type thing.
It's just empty. But once you put on, you stand in a certain area, you just see like you're in a cathedral.
Right.
And it's wild. And stepping over like stairs, it feels so weird. Because you're walking straight, but you're seeing that you're going up, so it really messes with your equilibrium.
Sure, right.
Yeah, it's really weird. Huh. You eventually get used to it. And then for bumping into each other, I know it's the main question here, is bumping into each other.
Right.
You see everybody as a big Astartes.
Right.
If you get close, though, there's like a shield that kind of goes over them, and it starts to go right in your ear, and you're like, okay, well, don't.
Proximity alarm.
But sometimes you don't really give a shit, and you just hit them anyways.
You just headbutt them.
Like... There was what happens in the game too. So you get your regular bolter, and you can get special weapons. It drops down, like these little pods that drop down. That's
like in Halo.
Well, no, it's more like Space Marine 2. Like you know that little.
I never played Space Marine 2. Sorry, I'm a bad nerd.
So, so the weapons are there, and then you walk through it, and that's how you kind of load it out. And then you get like, so I got a flamer, I got a plasma incinerator, there's a heavy bolter, I think there's a melta gun too. I didn't get it.
Sick.
Anyways. We were going right at the end. We were going against the Hive Tyrant, and the plasma incinerator was there. And I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna go." After that, I see Mark kind of running towards it, and I was like, "Nope!" And I like ran and I hit him. I was like, "Get out of here! That's mine!" And I walked into it.
You body checked him in real life.
Oh yeah, you can see him, and you can see everybody. I ran into Nicole a few times,
just beating her up.
And then in the campaign, I don't want to ruin too much of what happens, but like you have to end up separating, and it's kind of weird because the headset you're talking to, so it does kind of feel like they're far away, or they're like we were up a different level and they were down here. They're talking to us.
You can communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Oh, sick. That's actually really cool.
It's a full headset.
That's dope.
Wild experience. It was a half hour. It felt like 2 minutes.
Right.
Because it was so good.
Yeah.
And you were in it, and like these Hormagaunts are coming after you. The Warriors are coming at you. Holy shit!
And it's called Zero Latency.
Zero Latency. Cool. And then there's other games there too. You can do Far Cry.
Cool. Sweet.
There's a zombie apocalypse one.
Sure.
Then there's like puzzle ones, but like that.
Puzzles. I want to shoot stuff.
Oh man, it's wild. I can't believe it exists. Like,
that's cool. That's really cool.
Even in that briefing room, that Warhammer logo came up, and I just got chills. Like, and all of us were like, "Oh my god, we're in it!"
I'm a Space Marine. Let's go.
And you can it tracks you ducking. Like, so I was like doing like teabagging. Like I was just going like this. I was doing that.
Now
like,
that's from Halo. That's from Halo.
But I was doing it, and then everyone just started laughing. I'm like, you guys could see me do that. Wait. Like, so your model, like me as a stories, I was teabagging.
It's all motion. Has to be, right? It's all motion captured.
Totally.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, it was.
That's cool.
Wild.
I've always wondered about those VR things. So you're in a room. How big is the room?
It's not pretty big. It's. I don't know. It's like a restaurant. It's like a normal restaurant size. I don't know how to like.
Okay,
a couple thousand square feet.
Yeah, but like maybe 100 foot by 100 foot.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, how about that? Yeah.
How do you walk far enough to like get to the next zone? Does it kind of like loop you around the room, or how does that work?
Yeah, it totally does. Like
okay,
it's set up in a way where like there's at one point in it too that you kind of get caught in the warp, and then you're standing on a platform. And that's the dizzy part because you can look over and it looks like you're just in space. And then things would fly in and like connect to you, and that's what you have to step on. But if you don't step on too quick or quick enough, you'll fall and die.
Oh shit!
Because it's just like, oh shit, this one's about to go, and you have to go to the next one.
Right.
And so it does guide you. So the way they've designed the whole game, like they do try to like get people to walk.
Right. You're kind of in the same little zone.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool.
And then like there's fortified areas too, where there's 4 of us, and then the other 4 somewhere else, and we're like shooting or like. we didn't hear. I didn't see them for like probably 15 minutes. The other team, we just heard them. And then all of a sudden, you're walking across a bridge and you see them on another bridge across the way, and you just kind of wave at them.
My boys. I was going to ask.
It's weird.
Are you Ultramarines?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you name yourself. Was Typhus.
You were named Typhus?
I named
Jesus,
myself Typhus.
fucking heretic over here.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Cool.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, it's funny. They score you at the end, like with your points and stuff. So Mark Edwards ended up taking it all.
That's sick.
My wife got fourth. She beat me.
There you go.
Awesome.
She's
and
dangerous.
Then I think Fraser and Mark got last or something.
Nice. that makes sense.
But I know Mark was shooting his own. Like he went on hard and he was like getting a melta gun and just shooting people. Like he was just making he was shooting at his own teammates.
Jesus. Just
So you
goofing
can make
around.
it 1,000,
There's
right?
always one of them in every group. There's one.
Yeah.
There's one guy.
So I don't know the other modes. I think there is one where you actually do have a PvP.
That would be so much fun.
That'd be
I don't
fun.
like. I just be rolling and hitting guys.
She's just tackling people.
So
Knife kill. Knife kill.
I say
Stabbing
I
your
say
friend.
something. We all go again, and like we'll probably we got some. We gave away some of the RTT. We gave away some passes that they were generous enough to give to us to give away.
Awesome.
So more people can experience it. It's really really awesome. So anyone who's listening here, I do recommend. There's again Vancouver, Edmonton, and there is one here in Calgary. It's just right by Chinook Mall.
Dope.
Nice.
I think they do half off Tuesdays as well.
Check them out.
Yeah.
Love it. I want to go.
Yeah,
Let's
me
go.
too.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go half of Tuesday.
Let's do it.
Oh, they also have a bar.
Well, there you
sick.
go. That's just we're in.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Sweet. Good plug for zero latency.
Yeah, awesome stuff.
There was one more army I wanted to mention about the Dataslate. And Cass, you might be familiar with this change. Sisters. Sisters got a little
Very good.
actually a little buff, but a significant buff.
I think it makes sense. Like I know Miracle Dice shouldn't exist. I know the rule is it's difficult to navigate.
Right.
But when they got nerfed. Not only did they nerf the detachment of Bringer of Flame, like to a point where it's almost unplayable.
Yeah.
Then they nerfed the Miracle Dice on top of it, and the Miracle Dice gen, like that you're only getting like 2 a game. Well, I mean, obviously you get 4 a game, but it's
but
way too low.
That's pretty rough.
It's just way too low because that's their whole point. Like they are paper thin, but they needed that consistency in dice.
Yep.
Even if you look at the new Eldar, where they can have a free 6 for every aspect warrior, that's
Right.
even more Miracle Dice than you get as a
Sure.
than a sister,
it could
right?
be, yeah.
So where they went with that, I thought was good. It does make him a little bit more playable.
So what was the change?
The change is every time they went back.
Yeah, it
So
was
every time
reversal,
a
right.
model dies at the end of the phase, or you just get a Miracle Dice.
Every time
A unit.
dies.
You saw a unit, not
Right.
a model. Yeah.
Basically, they reverted that change because they changed it to if a unit dies at the end of that phase, you get a miracle die.
That's right.
Now they put it back to whenever a unit dies straight up, you get your miracle die.
Right. So then you can start running your trash and start generating some Miracle Dice, and then
Right.
try to navigate to an advantage or to an advantageous point to then clear out the enemy.
Do you think because we saw like ridiculous faction abandonment after that change? Do you think this is enough to bring people back to Sisters?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Sick.
I don't know if it's Bringers. It's probably Halo Martyrs or the Grotmist attachment.
Yeah, the Grotmist, because the Grotmist had a lot of miracle dice like manipulation and use as well, right?
Yeah, you can give your blessings with. It's almost like the vessels with World Leaders, but you give blessings with Miracle Dice.
Cool.
I can't remember that off the top of my head because I just like.
Yeah,
There's no Miracle
it's no
Dice.
good.
Doesn't
It's
matter.
dead. Yeah, right.
But you get OC2 essentially for your Sacrosands.
Cool.
And they can be a hard unit to shift because they have a natural -1 to wound, and depending on what's led by it. So like if you go cannons, you get free rerolls to hit. Then now you have -1 to wound. Then there's a strat that gives -1 to hit. Or you can go Hospitaller, and then you can give them like a feel no pain,
Right.
and it also heals them back. So I like that more. Obviously, I'm more of a tanky kind of like survival kind of guy that I would like the Hospitaller. But if I was going against, say, a World Leaders matchup, I'd probably want to put in Canonisses into a Sacrosands unit to then at least have that killing power back in combat. And then you're going to out-OC almost anything. That's a 20 OC blob.
Yeah. Right.
That's, again, hard to shift.
Yeah.
And then along with the blessings and everything else, you can kind of you can at least navigate the game. And you can still get some trash.
Sure. Right.
And then
right.
Morvenval Paragon War Suits, I think, is always a must. And then
ridiculous
in this current meta, when you have a lot of like elite bodies, a lot of 3-wound bodies, castigators are some of the best things to kill things like that for.
Yep.
So
yeah,
I actually think they're not in a bad spot at all.
they're certainly far better than they were after the nerf.
Yeah,
Like,
and also what Seraphim went down.
Yeah,
Zephyr went down.
Yeah,
I don't think you run it in Champions, but in Halo Martyrs you would.
Cool.
Right.
Sweet.
And ORKS went down a little bit too.
Nice.
Yeah, and ORKS they're great. Just bring a clock because you.
Oh,
you'll clock yourself if you're running those.
We had a lot. We had a few clock incidents over the weekend. I don't know if you heard or not, but clocks. We were. I think it was during lunch. We were all talking about the value of bringing a clock, and then there was a few instances of some clocking out in the afternoon games. Hugely valuable. So yeah, definitely.
I clocked every opponent.
I clocked
Fraser,
every opponent,
especially Fraser,
doubly Fraser. Give him 2 clocks. Yeah, just do a clock.
No, our clock was fine. We actually matched our time match.
Yeah, you guys did great. You guys did great. In the final, you guys did great.
Yeah.
Anything else about the data slate that I didn't bring up that you guys think you want to touch on? I think that's kind of like the big notes.
A couple of small points changes, but pretty much hit everything.
Pretty much it. Yeah. New detachments are exciting. Points changes are good. Yeah, I guess like a commentary on, quickly the local meta. Like we said, we did have a quick RTT over the weekend. Not the most biggest tournament or like the most competitive tournament, but a
35 player RTT is pretty good.
Yeah, it's decent.
That's
decent
true.
size.
What is like the size? I guess a GT has to be 2 days, obviously, right?
Yeah. Yeah, GT is 5 rounds. I mean, you can do it in 1 day.
Big as the RTTs have gone around Calgary have been like 32 people.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, so a good sized RTT, which Thomas and the boys are committed to doing monthly RTTs now. So next month will be another one, little one at the end, near the end of the month.
I think it's at April 26th.
Something like that.
Great opportunity to test new lists.
100%. I think that's
not
great.
bring anything too sweaty.
Yeah.
Because a lot of new players go to RTTs.
100%. I think it's a lot of fun. We're in a good spot here in the local meta where we've got monthly RTTs going down. We're definitely getting into tournament season. We were breaking it down with Adam. Like Adam's going to 5 tournaments in a row.
If he does the
potentially
RTT.
6 in a row. Boom, boom. Kelowna, Fool's Errand, Edmonton, 6-man. It's just there's tons. There's
an
West
RTT on the
Coast.
26th. So after West Coast is an RTT.
Oh, where?
Calgary.
Oh,
that's what we're saying.
Okay.
They're doing another one. So lots of good stuff. The local meta is strong. It's growing. Obviously, everybody's excited for the Edmonton Open, which is just around the corner as well. Alberta's doing good. What's Cass? What's your read on the local meta currently? Do you think ORKS is gonna obviously we're seeing ORKS in like the international stage light it up and destroy GTs. Do you think we'll see that locally?
I think we have a fair amount of ORK players here in Calgary.
We do.
I don't know if they're gonna be building the more DAKKA DAKKA just because they're knowing the nerf's happening. We didn't really see all that much. We saw 2 players, notably Corey Burns and Brad Armstrong, were running more DAKKA DAKKA, and they performed well.
Yeah.
So I imagine they're gonna carry that on, but I think it's all in the back of our head that it is going to be nerfed.
So you think the looming obvious nerf is going to stop people from going for it?
And I think that it's hard to play against and to try to make it like an anti-orc list because, again, with orcs, they can just get lucky and just blow you out. I think you're just going to have to kind of make a list that would do okay against them, but like be better against other armies.
Of course, you can't skew just into one faction.
They could have this high win rate, and if you get paired up with them, you get paired up with them.
Yeah,
that's the way I see it. Adam was running Leagues of Votan and went against Corey Burns round 2 and got him. So it's not like it's not unbeatable.
Of course not.
You got him the other night too.
Yeah. They just don't like 2-up armor saves, and if you use terrain well, can be a really hard matchup for
some
the
-1 damage here and there would be
and it is mission and deployment dependent,
of course,
as well.
Always.
There's lots of variables.
There's lots of variables.
Any comment on the meta going forward, generally, locally, whatever?
I think it's in a good spot right now, other than like 2 armies. I think it's anybody. It's up to anybody. Anybody can take any GT coming up here. So just try your best and have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Great message.
I mean, when we're gonna look at the top tiers, I mean, still say there isn't a nerf, and we have the GT coming up at Fool's Errand at the beginning of April.
Yep.
I think that is something to consider. Like if you're going to be playing the top tables, you do got to at least consider it. That there's going to be some orcs. There's going to be some Yunari.
Of course.
Because I think Simon Baines, who went 3-0 as well in the last RTT, he was running NIDS, and I think he wants. I don't know. I don't speak for him. Maybe you can comment here, Simon, but I'm sure he wants to go to Yunari as well. Tony runs Creatures of Bile. I think that's a crazy pressure list. Crazy pressure list.
Very strong.
I run Death Guard, so whatever.
Yeah, like whatever.
Yeah, don't worry about me.
All these pressure lists. No big deal.
Well, don't worry. Don't tech to me. That's fine. I'm just a normal guy. He runs Grey Knights. David, he has Grey Knights. We got an Imperial Knights player.
How do you even tech for Death Guard? That's such a weird. I don't think you would because there's not a lot of Death Guard players in local anyway. You're like the Death Guard player.
Yeah.
It's not a bad place to be.
There's a few.
It's not a bad place to be. Is there? Who
Matt Dean plays Death Guard. James
Dean
Baker,
does.
very good player too.
James does. That's true. Right. He was testing out the Defilers a little while ago, and the testing was not great. It was.
He tested them against you.
In fairness, he tested them into Imperial Knights, which is not where you want to do it. I guess that's like the good stress test, obviously. Yeah. But it was
funny because we were both in a group chat with Don Houston about. Because he's like the crab lord. He's the best Death Guard player in the world right now.
Right.
He took the crabs to LVO and got like 14th.
Nice.
So me, him, and James were in a group chat just talking about Defilers. Like, how are you going to run it? What are you doing? Like, how is this approaching it? And thanks, Don, for helping us out and talking through. But James did not go well.
I don't know if he did more tests other than our game, but it did not go good in our game.
But I think also his 3D printed crabs probably didn't help.
They're huge.
Yeah.
Are they not standard?
I don't know. I thought you told me they were 3D printed.
I don't know if they're 3D printed or not. They're just very, very big. I don't know if that's just a Defiler issue or that sculpt issue.
I think if you build them a certain way, they can have a smaller footprint. And if you don't build them, they can have a big
But they're always
going
to be big.
Yeah, they're just
They're
always going to be
spiky and claws.
They need
and
a new sculpt on a base.
That's an old model.
Yeah.
That's an old model.
Funny story. My brother doesn't watch this, so it's fine. He had trouble reading his whole life. Okay, here's a funny story. So we're all on Discord playing Dawn of War.
Okay. Yeah.
Me and another buddy, my brother, and he just like, hey guys, you got to get the Diffler. Get the Diffler. Like, what the fuck is a Diffler, man? The Defiler.
The Diffler. That's like the Stifler.
Now to this day I call him Diffler.
The Dougler.
I'll kill the Diffler. Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah. Sweet. Well, I think that wraps us for Dataslate and meta analysis. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah,
for your time.
And hey, let us know what you guys want to hear about. We're talking. We've just finished this RTT. Yes, Yanari won. Yeah,
Yanari did take it. Frazier
took it. He lost. Or I lost him in the finals.
That's right. Cass, to his credit, got best overall. Lost to Frazier in the finals, who took best general.
Yeah.
Couldn't have happened to a worse guy.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But guys, let us know in the comments what you guys want to see, what you want to talk about. We kind of roll with the punches a bit, and feel out what we want, what's relevant, and we try to make it so when you guys are on your car rides or at home painting, you have something to listen to. So
hell yeah.
If there's anything you want to, battle reports, I think we want to start getting back into.
We'll get back into it for sure.
You want to see any specific matchups?
Yeah.
I want to see Worldies versus World Leaders. I want to see Frazier versus David.
You want to see? Oh, I do want to see. That's fair. Okay, I'm not a big fan of mirror matches, but that one I might make an exception for.
And they both have to play vessels.
Sure.
No, I wouldn't do that.
We've been
you guys can flip a coin.
One plays Warband, one plays vessels.
You can't play the same one. Yeah, for sure not.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Like Cass said, get in the comment sections. Tell us what you want. We're gonna do. I think we're committed to doing a battle report next month for sure. At least one. Oh, it's going to be a big month.
Yeah.
We'll see. We're going to try to get one in for you guys.
Yeah.
Tell us what you want to see in the matchup. Never forget to like, comment, subscribe, and smash that notification bell. Thanks, guys. Freaking beat it up. Kick it in the face so you never miss an episode of Bloodbath Tactics.
See you guys.
Bye.